morning, everyone. Welcome to the daily study call for today. We've been studying Genevieve Behrend's book, Your Invisible Power. And today, this morning, we're going to be going into chapter 7. The title of this chapter is Things to Remember. And just as a quick review, yesterday we talked about kind of a process of how to bring yourself into a state to be able to program and to visualize and have it be effective. And I talked a little bit about the science of why what she's saying there actually works, that there are actually things that are at least now scientifically based, rather than at the time when she wrote this, they were just the popular way that they used to do it, or, was just kind of the general teaching, but there was actual real reasons why they did what they did, and why when people did it that way, it was effective. So anyways, let's jump right into this chapter, Things to Remember. And there are 7 things that she wants to use, or that she says that she wants us to remember. And using your thought power for the production of new conditions. Be sure to know what conditions you wish to produce. Then weigh carefully to what further results the accomplishment of your desire will lead. So she's talking there, you want to have that clear vision, that clear picture of what it is that you want. And also she's saying that it's helpful to envision for yourself, okay, if I were to get this, then what next? And oftentimes, if you will ask yourself that question, if I get this, then what next? Or what's the purpose? What's the goal? How will this further my life? How will it make it better? You'll often find that you can start to uncover some things that you'll find you don't actually want those things, but that you actually want something different. And you believe that by getting it, you would get that. So you may want happiness. And you believe that, having $100,000 in your bank account is going to give you that happiness. Now, if you ask yourself to what further results the accomplishment of your desire will lead, now, will that actually bring you happiness? No, that $100,000 actually won't. Now, it may enable you to do many other things that would give you fulfillment, give you joy and pleasure in life. So maybe the answer would be that, yes, this $100,000 would make me happier. But for other people, it might be that, okay, actually what I want is a better relationship with my spouse, or I want a better relationship with, a family member, friends, that I want, a better, a nicer vehicle. That would actually bring me happiness. Or maybe you just want the happiness and that's what you focus on, and then you let life bring to you whatever it's going to bring. So you really want to understand why it is that you want the thing that you want, because that's going to help you overcome and push through any difficulties that there may be. Now, to kind of go over our process of manifestation that we've talked about multiple times through this study, is that you have to have a clear vision, you have to have an uplifted emotion, and then an opportunity will come to you to do something. Now, let's say that you want that $100,000, but you're really not motivated by any cause or thing that's going to allow you to do. It's just kind of a fancy that you want that $100,000. Well, an opportunity is going to come along where you can earn the $100,000. But if that $100,000 isn't really significant to you, it's not going to allow you to do anything significant for yourself, for your family, or for yourself, for your life, then you're not going to you're not going to get yourself to do what's necessary with that opportunity that comes along, so that then you can get the end result. So you want to make sure that the purpose for which you're going after these things is desirable to you. Otherwise, you won't put forth the effort needed when those opportunities come to actually get the thing that you want. All right, number 2, by letting your thought dwell upon a mental picture, you are concentrating the creative spirit to this center, where all of its forces are equally balanced. So I think one thing that she's trying to bring out here that's important to understand is that all these forces are equally balanced. So it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you are in the world, that these forces are equal. And so you have just as much opportunity to use these things as somebody that is wealthy, somebody that is maybe more intelligent, somebody that's more talented than you. Doesn't matter. This force is equally present for everyone. And you are a creative spirit or center of this substance that penetrates and permeates all of the universe. Number 3, visualizing brings your objective mind into a state of equilibrium, which enables you to consciously direct the flow of spirit to a definitely recognized purpose, and to carefully guide your thought from including a flow in the opposite direction. So what she's saying here is that when you're doing a visualization, it helps you keep your mind focused on where it is that you want to go, so that you're not going or mentally focusing on what it is that you don't want. Because if you focus on what you don't want, then you're going to manifest that in your life. Because fear and faith are very similar. Fear is faith in something that you don't want, so you fear it. Faith is in something that you do want. And so you want to be clear in what it is that you're focusing on, because fear is not necessarily a lack of faith. It's just faith misappropriated into something that you don't want. Number 4, you must always bear in mind that you are dealing with a wonderful potential energy, which is not yet differentiated into any particular mold, and that by the action of your mind, you can differentiate it into any specific mold that you will. Your picture assists you to keep your mind fixed on the fact that the inflow of this creative energy is taking place. Also, by your mental picture, you are determining the direction you wish the sensitive creative power to take. And by doing this, the externalization of your picture is a certainty. So I think that in this thing that she's just trying to bring out this idea that we need to be conscious of the power that we actually possess, and that we use it wisely, that we use it for the betterment of ourselves and those around us, and not to anyone's detriment, because this power can and has been used for the detriment of other people. Number 5, remember when you are visualizing properly that there is no strenuous effort on your thought to hold your thought forms in place. Strenuous effort defeats your purpose and suggests the consciousness of an adverse force to be fought against, and this creates conditions adverse to your picture. So this holding a thought in your mind and trying to create something, you're not trying to convince God, or you're not trying to convince this substance to create for you out in the world. You're not trying to force it. And if you're trying to force it, then you don't understand the laws which govern this, because you don't need to strain, you don't need to struggle. And if the thought picture that you're holding in your mind is a struggle for you to hold it in your mind, maybe that's not what you should be focusing on. Because in a sense, you want to fall in love with the thing that you're envisioning in your mind. If it's a home, you want to fall in love with that home. If it's a car, you want to fall in love with that car. If it's a person, you want to fall in love with that person. And what those things that you fall in love with or that you love, you don't have any difficulty of bringing those things to your mind. It's effortless. And so if you're having a difficulty, you feel like you have to force this image in your mind, maybe that's not what you should be focusing on. So find something that you want that's going to be effortless to bring up in your mind, so that you're not forcing it, that it can be effortless in its creation. Number 6, by holding your picture in a cheerful frame of mind, you shut out all thoughts that would disperse the spiritual nucleus of your picture. Because the law is creative in its action, your picture desire is certain of accomplishment. So this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, that you want to be cheerful in holding it. You want to fall in love with the thing that you're holding in your mind. You want to treasure it, that it can be something of value to you, because there are vibrations of energy in different feelings, and something that you love and something that you cherish, something that you treasure, something that you're grateful for, those are all high vibrational frequencies. And so the higher the vibrational frequency of the feeling that you're putting out there, the stronger the power is on that substance that you're trying to create from. So it's going to move more powerfully and quicker when you hold these higher states of vibration. So she said, by holding your picture in a cheerful frame, you shut out all thoughts that would disperse the spiritual nucleus of your picture. So also, it's you can't be grateful for something and be dissatisfied with it at the same time. You can't be in love with something and hate something at the same time. Some of these emotions are diametrically opposed to each other. And so if you're holding something in your mind with a cheerful emotion, what she like she's saying, then you're not going to feel fear. You're not going to feel some of the negative vibrations that would keep this from manifesting in your life. Number 7, the seventh and great thing to remember in visualizing is that you are making a mental picture for the purpose of determining the quality you are giving to the previously undifferentiated substance and energy rather than to arrange the specific circumstances for its manifestation. So again, we've talked about this principle multiple times, that you want to focus on the end result. You want to focus on what it is that you want, and then leave this substance, this power, this God, to create for you along the lines that it chooses so that it can be harmony and it can bless everyone involved. You don't want to say, I want this, but I only want it in this, and this way, or I only want it to come from this source, or I only want it to come from this person. When you set those restrictions on this spirit, then you may not get your manifestation, because for you to get what it is that you want, somebody else might have to have a loss. And again, this spirit, this power, God, operates on the process of more abundance. It doesn't operate in any lack. And so if it takes away from somebody, it's not going to do that. And so if what you want, you're trying to determine, say, this has to happen for it to come along my way, you may or may not get it, because it may not be in harmony with other people getting what it is that they desire as well. And so you want to focus just on the end result and leave everything else up to God. Let go and let God, as the saying goes. That is the work of the creative power itself. It will build its own forms of expression quite naturally, if you will allow it, and save you a great deal of needless anxiety. What you really want is expansion in a certain direction, whether of health, wealth, or whatnot. And so long as you get it, as you surely will, if you confidently hold to your picture, what does it matter whether it reaches you by some channel which you thought you could count upon, or through some other of whose existence you had no idea? You are concentrating energy of a particular kind for a particular purpose. Bear this in mind and let specific details take care of themselves. And never mention your intention to anyone. Remember always that nature, from her clearly visible surface to her most arcane depths, is one vast storehouse of light and good, entirely devoted to your individual use. Now, let me stop there and let's go over some of these things, because I think that there's some really key points that we would be amiss if we were to not go back and talk about them. So she says that, what does it matter whether it reaches you by the channel in which you thought that it would come, or whether it comes through something that you had no idea? If you got the end result, let's say that you're, wanting a great relationship, and maybe you thought, I want a great relationship with that person. See, you would be saying that you want it to come in such a way. But what you want to say is, I want a great relationship, and then leave it up to God or this substance to bring to you the person that will give that to you. Because you may, let's say that you were to get that person that you had in your mind, you may not actually end up in a good relationship with them. It may not be what you thought it would be once you were in a relationship with them. And so you don't want to set those kind of parameters on it, but you set the parameter of, I want this kind of relationship, and then allow it to bring you whatever it is that you want. And if you get a great relationship, what does it matter whether it was with that person that you wanted, or whether it was with another person? because you got the end result. So what else does it? Nothing else really matters. But sometimes we get so fixated on it has to be in this way that then we cause all kinds of problems in our manifestation, and we end up not getting what it is that we want, and we cause ourselves all kind of pain and frustration. All right. You are concentrating energy of a particular kind for a particular purpose. Bear this in mind and let specific details take care of themselves. So again, that idea of just let these things happen, let them happen in the way that is going to be most beneficial for everyone involved. Remember always that nature, from her clearly visible surface to her most arcane depths, is one vast storehouse of light and good, entirely devoted to your individual use. Now, this, I think, is a statement, an idea that would benefit you immensely if you could incorporate that in as part of your belief, that all of nature, that God, that this substance, everything is for your good and for your use, that you can use all of these things for your benefit. Now, I think a lot of times we get in situations where we feel guilt or we feel shame for whatever reason. We feel that we're not worthy. We feel that we're not capable, whatever the reason is. And we feel like that God is against us, the universe is against us, I'm not lucky. We have these kinds of ideas. You need to banish those kinds of ideas from your mind and take this idea into your belief system and incorporate it and believe it, that all of nature, that God is for your best good, that they're striving, that they want to give you your best good. And so if you believe that God wants to give you the best, then why are you, and if you're not experiencing the best, then why not? Then the simple answer is that you are the cause. And I find a lot of hope in that, because what that says to me is that all I need to do is change myself, and then I can get whatever it is that I desire. But if it's God that's in the way, if it's God that's keeping these from it, then, I'm kind of up the creek without a paddle, because there's nothing that I could do to change that. And so the fact that nature is for you, that God is for your best good, gives me a lot of hope. And if you incorporate this idea, I think it will give you a lot of hope to the idea that you can have whatever it is that you want. You just need to follow the laws that govern getting that thing, and then follow them, and it will come into your life. Your conscious oneness with the great whole is the secret of success. And when once you have fathomed this, you can enjoy your possession of the whole or a part of it at will, because by your recognition you have made it and can increasingly make it yours. Never forget that every physical thing, whether for or against you, was a sustained thought before it was a thing. Thought as thought is neither good nor bad. It is creative action and always takes physical form. Therefore, the thoughts you dwell upon become the things you possess or do not possess. Now, I think that those last few statements are key, and that she says that they are super important. That if, as he says, it's the secret of success, by recognizing your oneness with this creative power. Because if you can recognize that you are one with God, that you are one with this whole, and that you can create from it, then there's no barrier for you. There's nothing stopping you from having and being and experiencing whatever it is that you desire. And I think that that's what we're working towards here in this existence, that we're trying to uncover this natural capability that is already ours. But we have so many beliefs and we have so many different things that are covering up that. And so it's not about becoming something necessarily. It's not about gaining some ability. It's about recognizing what you already are, the thing that you already have in front of you, and taking hold and taking hold on that idea and making it yours, understanding who you really are. And so I find that very hopeful as well, because the idea is that if this is already a part of you, if it's something from within you that you don't need to go out there and get it, then no one can keep you from it. The only person then that is keeping you from it is your own self. And so then it just becomes a matter of doing the personal work that you need to do to uncover all of the false beliefs and remove them so that you can become who you really are. The vast potential that you have to offer to yourself and to others, and to bless the lives of those around you. All right, with that thought, we'll end today's study call. Go out there, do the work necessary to become your best self, to get rid of the falsities and to accept the truths that are there in front of you, the truth of who you are. And until tomorrow's morning study, we'll say bye for now.